So welcome, bienvenidos. This is my Lunch and Learn. It's a casual workshop where we're going to be talking today about Hispanic and Latinx Heritage Month. And all of my lovely friends and colleagues who are here, I appreciate you being here to support me and to participate and share. And also, if you have your own questions that you have, just wanted answered about the why or the how or the what or the who of Hispanic Heritage Month. That's what we hope to cover today. Also, people who are here with Hispanic heritage, you come from a country in the Spanish-speaking world. I'm so grateful to have you here. Your perspective is always welcome and so valuable. And then I just want to remind you that this is a mini series of workshops. So we have today's workshop, only 45 minutes, and now we're starting a little late, so it'll be even shorter. So we'll see what we get to today. And whatever we don't get to today, that's the good thing about it being a mini series, because we can basically pick up from where we left off next week, next Friday. Even though our focus will be more about Dia de los Muertos, Day of the Dead, we can still, pick up where we left off today. Obviously, it connects, right? Hispanic and Latinx heritage does connect with Dia de los Muertos, and that tradition, which is specific to Mexico and some other countries, but not all of Latin America either. So it's an interesting way to see how, Hispanic heritage isn't a universal heritage either. So that's something we can talk about here. There's a lot of differences from country to country. So that's why we're here today. And I hope you're ready and curious. So today's agenda, and also can be the agenda that kind of bleeds into next week. ¿Quién soy? Who am I? Talking a little bit about learning with Leah. What am I doing here? What are we doing here? Followed by ¿Quiénes somos? Who are we? Little quick game, very easy. Don't worry. Don't let your anxiety levels rise. We're just having fun here. And then, ¿Qué sabemos? What do we know? So I'll love to hear from you. After that, we're going to do a little chat. We'll talk a little bit about the why and the what, por qué and qué, and any of your questions. Then I'll mention a little bonus for you. And at the end, we'll say hasta la pasta. So I just wanted to say, ¿Quién soy? Who am I? First of all, about learning with Leah. I am here because teaching and learning is one of the most human experiences we can have. It makes me remember that I'm human and we make mistakes, we try, it's a process, but inevitably when we learn new things, we expand our horizons, keep our minds open, and it makes life worth living, really. I left teaching in schools because I felt like there had to be a better way to teach. For me, I'm just doing a lot better doing my own thing in my freelance online teaching business, which allows me to be my most creative self and follow my passion to help people who feel stuck or otherwise unable to finally learn Spanish. Finally, right? It's that sense of Lexi raised her hand, exactly. That Lexi's my ideal student, right? She has this heart-centered approach. She really, really loves a lot about tacos. No, I'm just kidding. A lot about Spanish, and really, really has this desire to learn, and also understands what it takes. She's putting in the effort and time, and it's really beautiful to watch her go through the process of learning. So awesome. Then about me. Why do you speak Spanish, right? Literally, the people who are screaming at me on Machu Picchu, hey, Leah, you're a gringa. Why do you speak Spanish? People have totally said that to me. And it's funny. I speak Spanish because I have curiosity, passion, and a little bit of laziness. That's why I have followed my path with Spanish. It was my easiest class in school. I just found Spanish to be really easy. It was my first honors class. And it was too much work when I took it as an honors class. So I dropped it so I could do more theater. I did a study abroad program in college in Granada and Oviedo, Spain. And the Spanish-speaking world, I think, is much cooler than the US. But also because, there is so much cool stuff in the world, pop music, pop culture coming out of Latin America and Spanish-speaking countries. And so learning Spanish helps you just be cool. That's what I say anyway. I taught English abroad, learned that I love teaching, and I started wondering, why don't more Americans speak Spanish? What is the deal with this? It's the second most native language in the spoken language in the world. And it's the second most spoken language in this country. Like, what is going on? So I have a passion for spreading the love of Spanish language and culture because of these reasons and many others. And there I am in Machu Picchu in Peru to show that as truth and fact. Anybody know where I am in these pictures?
Maybe I have like an unfair advantage, but I think you're on the Camino in northern Spain.
Ding, ding, ding,
Camino,
ding, ding.
Camino de Santiago.
El Camino de Santiago de España. Sí, El Camino de Santiago, the way of Saint James, as we like to say it. It sounds strange in English. And there I am drinking wine out of a wall, out of a faucet. It was an amazing journey just for that experience. Okay, who knows? Native Spanish speakers, please be quiet for a moment. Anybody who's not a native Spanish speaker, do you know how to greet someone in Spanish? Just throw it out there. Any options? Lexi.
Hola, ¿qué tal?
Hola, ¿qué tal? Muy bien. Anybody else?
¿Qué pasó?
Sí. Oh my God. ¿Qué pasó? She's got this like the past tense thing going on. And that's very like colloquial. Okay. Anybody else? ¿Qué pasó?
I may say buenos dias if it's somebody that I don't know very well.
Yeah, sure. Buenos dias. Absolutely. All right. Native Spanish speakers, bring it. What do you say in your countries, or like any slang or anything fun?
¿Qué
Or
hola,
just
Leah?
¿Qué?
¿Qué hola?
Oh, sí, qué volá. Qué volá.
¿Qué hubo? ¿Qué hola?
Que hubo, que volá. I love that. Que volá is very specific to where? Where do they say that?
Cuba.
To Cuba. Exactly.
It's
Que volá.
really specific. Yes, in Cuba. Yes, with Cubans or someone that really needs some Cuban in a way at some point. Cuba is for Puerto Rican people. Cuba.
Oh.
And there is another one that I love that is from Dominican Republic. ¿Qué lo que hay?
¿Qué lo que hay?
¿Qué lo que hay? That's,
oh my God, there's so many good
one
ones.
phrase.
Right, like one word. It's like German.
Just one word, but
like...
really long. ¿Qué lo que hay?
¿Qué lo que hay? Okay, amazing. And Carlos, ¿qué tenemos aquí?
In Colombia, we also use cubo.
Oh, there you go.
¿Qué más? ¿Qué onda? ¿Cómo vas?
Oh my gosh, so many. All right, so
I have another one. ¿Cómo andas? ¿Cómo andas? Do you say ¿cómo andas?
Sí. Do you say it in Colombia, Carlos? ¿Cómo andas?
Sí, ¿cómo andas?
Awesome. Exactly. ¿Cómo andas? From the verb andar, to walk. How do you walk?
Can you say those to people that you don't, like in terms of formal versus informal? Like if you're greeting like somebody who's like an elder, would you say something different?
Right, like all of these phrases that we just used right now are pretty casual, right? You could probably use some of them with an older person though. It's not like
casual.
They're casual, right? The only situation where you might not use them is, and correct me if I'm wrong, like maybe like a very formal professional scenario.
Exactly. In those cases, you will use it like, ¿cómo anda usted? O ¿qué tal está usted hoy? So it's more like formal. So we use the same phrase, like a casual phrase, but we modify a little bit with usted to make it more formal, a little bit.
Yeah.
¿Cómo anda usted hoy? Something like that.
Awesome. So, yeah. So like in this case, obviously we don't need to use the usted versions, but knowing that, yeah, most of these options do have a more politer, slightly more formal version if you want to conjugate in the usted form. So yeah. So I mean, I've literally just put the most basic options here. Hola and qué tal. Please though, when we practice right now, you can choose to say, or Sarah remembers my videos from like that you all have seen because you're all amazing. The que pedo in Mexico. Que pedo. It's just like, why do they say that? I don't know why. And someone once told me, like, Leah, you really shouldn't be like a Mexican person. You really shouldn't be teaching your students que pedo. It's actually like street talk, you know, or something like that. I was just like, it's fine. People said it all the time when I was there. Que pedo, like friends to friends all day long. So it's fine. So in a moment, when you guys, I'm going to have you greet each other, and I'll help kind of like keep us together with who knows what they're going to say. But you can choose hola or just qué tal, or any one of those that you want to remember. You might want to jot it down right now. Obviously, don't worry about spelling or anything. We're not going to grade you. If you want to try qué pedo or qué más or qué, cómo andas, qué hubo, any of those, just to like stretch out of your comfort zone. Spelling doesn't count. Doesn't matter. Okay, the next thing. ¿Cómo se dice? Oh, looks like I have to click over here. ¿Cómo se dice my name is, or what's your name in Spanish? Shout it out. Obviously, native Spanish speakers are pausing and keeping quiet. Lexi or Sarah, you look like you're both kind of ready to go.
Me llamo Lexi.
Me llamo Lexi. Bam. Okay, the me llamo is the easiest go-to one. Sarah, anything to add?
Soy Sara.
Soy, there you go. Soy Sara. So you can say me llamo Sara, soy Sara. Does anybody remember any other options for saying my name is? Soy obviously is more I am, but that's totally fine for saying who you are. Emily, do you happen to remember any other options? Totally fine.
We've said me llamo Emily.
Soy Emily, and then the third one would have the word nombre in it.
Oh,
anybody?
Mi nombre es Emily.
Sí, mi nombre es Emily. Exactly. So there's all these options. Yes, muy bien. Ding, ding, ding. So what we're going to do now, I just put down me llamo blank, right? Me llamo followed by your name. But if you want to say soy or mi nombre es, that's totally fine too. Then you're going to ask somebody else what their name is, okay, in this group. And I will just shout out the name of the person first so you know who you're asking. Okay. It doesn't even matter. You're going to say, ¿Cómo te llamas? And then I'm just going to go, Lexi. And Lexi will know, oh, okay, she just asked me, so I'm going to answer. And then you're going to say, ¿Cómo te llamas? To somebody else. And I'm going to go, Carlos. And then Carlos will do it. You know what I'm saying? Does that make sense? Just so we can kind of make sure everybody gets a chance. All right. And native Spanish speakers, totally mix it up, throw something in there so confuse us. Advanced language is welcome. or not, anything you want. Okay, so we're going to greet, and we're going to say, my name is, and then we're going to say, what's your name? Okay, as if we're talking to the person. So I'm going to start. Hola, ¿qué hubo? Me llamo Leah. ¿Cómo te llamas? Laura. So I'm throwing it over to Laura.
Hola, ¿cómo andas, Leah?
Excelente, gracias.
Mi nombre es Laura. ¿Cómo te llamas?
Sarah. Sara.
Hola, ¿qué pasó, Leah? Soy Sara. Do I throw it to somebody? I forgot.
Yeah, you're gonna just say ¿Cómo te llamas? And I'm
gonna shout it. Lexi.
Sí.
Hola, ¿qué onda? Me llamo Lexi. ¿Cómo te llamas?
Carlos.
Hola, ¿qué pedo? Me llamo Carlos. ¿Cómo te llamas? Emily. ¿Sí?
Hola, Carlos. Me llamo Emily. ¿Cómo te llamas? Who's left? Leah.
Awesome, excelente. Give yourself a round of applause. You guys did fantastic just now. You're my ideal class. Can you just be my students all day, every day? So let's talk a little bit about what you already know. I really want to hear from you. Who has something to share with me? When I say Hispanic Heritage Month, what comes to mind? What do you know about it? Like I said before, an example is literally, I know the name of it is Hispanic Heritage Month. Raise your hand if you know that. Yeah, exactly. What is like anything you know about it? Hop in.
I know it's from September 15th to October 15th in the United States. Right?
Exactly.
Is that right?
Exactly. September 15th to October 15th in the United States of America. Anything else that we know already about Hispanic Heritage Month? You know, like if it celebrates anything in particular?
So I think that it starts, I think that the September 15th date is a particular date in one of our Spanish-speaking countries over in this hemisphere. And then there are other dates kind of around peppered through the month, which is why it spans the 2 months. But I'm not sure that I could get accurate all of those specific dates.
Exactly. Oh, of course. I mean, this is not a history test full of factual dates at all. I don't even know most of them. Exactly. But there are a lot of important dates within this date range in the year. Does anybody know any of those dates? Like Carlos or Laura might know. What are some of the dates? Like, for example, some dates within this date range are Independence Days in some countries, right?
I know that 10/12 was considered Columbus Day before. I don't know if that is part of the reason.
It is, absolutely. And then now we are shifting to Columbus Day being what? The name, what we're
Indigenous Peoples.
Indigenous Peoples
Day. Yeah.
One thing to notice about that is Hispanic Heritage Month can have a focus on indigenous cultures of the different lands that are now considered Latin America, the El Caribe, all the Spanish-speaking world. There's a lot of strong indigenous influence still in a lot of that part of the world. In the US, we forget about that because a lot of the indigenous culture has been wiped out. And so it's more difficult to remember the history of this land and the people that occupied it before. And so we realize there's a lot of indigenous culture and history that makes that part of Hispanic Heritage Month. It's not just, oh, you speak Spanish, it's where you come from, and those roots can easily be tracked to cultures and ancient civilizations, and it's quite deep and fascinating. And once you start studying even a little bit of it, like I did in college, I was like hooked. I couldn't believe all of the magic that I felt like I was learning about too. Anything else that you know already about Hispanic Heritage Month? Where is it celebrated? Where is it not celebrated?
I know in the US, we celebrate, the contributions Hispanic Americans have made to like make our country great, and like what they've done, achievements. It's kind of just highlighting like the Tapatio story, just highlighting people of Hispanic heritage to how they like make us better, I guess, I don't know how to say that, but so we celebrate in the US. And
yeah, exactly.
I don't know where we don't celebrate, so I can't answer that.
Yeah, well, it is celebrated in the US. Is it celebrated anywhere else other than the United States? No.
But I don't know. I think there's just like a growing population of Latinos in the United States that made it like a necessity almost to celebrate our heritage in the United States. Exactly.
Laura?
Yeah, and according to that, Carlos, is I feel like it's more like the generation. There is more generation that they say that they are Latinos, even if they are born in United States. So that change in mind, that change in mindset in the generation that they are like, now they are individual, they are adult, and they define themselves like Latinx, is bigger and bigger and bigger. It's bigger. And I was looking for the anniversary of independence around those days, Leah, and I found like the anniversary of independence of Costa Rica, El Salvador, Guatemala, Honduras, and Nicaragua is September 15.
Exactly.
And September 18 is Mexico and Chile. They celebrate the Independence Day
on the 18th.
September 18.
Oh, thank you.
Both are on September, but yes, they are close enough.
Exactly. Yeah.
Close enough. And then the Dia de la Raza, the Columbus Day, or Dia de la Raza, that you wrote.
Dia de la Raza, right? I forgot that's what we call it in Spanish. Exacto. So, and I think there are even more Independence Days within this date range, but thank you for reminding me about that. On the 15th, not the September 15th date, there are multiple countries who celebrate that one day as their Independence Day. And I believe they're all in Central America. I like that, what you were saying, Laura, about like new generations changing their mindset around Latino identity, and like kind of sounds like people are starting to embrace their identity more and celebrating it more and using, language around it in the sense that they're saying, I'm Latino, and I really like that. I like knowing that. And I think that is for sure one of the reasons over the course of, the history of Hispanic Heritage Month. I mean, there's a huge, the United States in general is a melting pot, right? We remember that sort of phrase. So in fact, we're all immigrants in the United States, if we really think about it, or we come from immigrants to the United States. So technically, when we look at the large population of Latinos or people of that heritage in the US, that's where we're like, oh my God, no wonder we need a whole month to celebrate this. There are so many, there's just so much. The Spanish-speaking world is huge. People come from all of it, and they're all here in the US. So we need a lot more time to do it. All right, so we only have a little bit left. Does anybody else want to add anything else to our little list here of what you already know about Hispanic Heritage Month?
I wonder, Leah, just on the terms of the name of the month. I know I've heard other names like Latino Heritage Month or Latinx Heritage Month, and I'm wondering if you could talk a little bit about those differences. And I've always wondered about kind of which one should I use.
Oh my gosh, totally.
Because you could probably spend like a whole hour talking.
Yeah, there are whole like, oh yeah. Thank you, Laura. You just shared a link here. And sorry, I missed that Sarah left. Adios, Sarah. What's this link? I'm curious right now. Is this
I found that is pretty interesting, because that say like the observation start in 1968 as Hispanic Heritage Week under President Lyndon Johnson. And then it was expanded by President Ronald Reagan in 1988 to cover a 30-day period. And it was enacted into law in August in 88. So it's pretty new.
It is pretty new. Exactly. It's not like it started in the 1800s.
so perhaps I should take back what I said about a marketer.
Yeah.
I guess I want to say I laugh because I feel like we should be celebrating people year round, not just over 1 month,
Totally.
I think that's why I sort of feel like, I think it's good, for people just to have that thought that we're celebrating folks all year round.
Exactly. And that is how it should be. And I mean, over here in my life, that's what I do. So, but thank you for this. This is great. I'm glad everybody should kind of take a peek at this. This is exactly what I was looking at earlier as well.
I feel like Latinos do celebrate all year round. So, okay.
I know you do, right? Woo!
Yeah, we celebrate a lot. So it's okay.
Yeah, it's just like party, salsa, let's do it, dance with your auntie. Um, all right. So what I wanted to do, we're unfortunately we're going to have to stop, but I'm going to keep this. Emily asked about the terms Hispanic versus Latinx, and that is a really important question. Does anybody want to address that really quickly before we move on? Well, yeah, luckily in Spanish, as well as other languages, we are able to get more inclusive with how we're, our terminology. And it's more challenging in Spanish because of the way that the gender is a lot more important on a language level than in English. So you have this option like Latinx, where you add this X to make it more inclusive. And I think people are choosing to say Latinx Heritage Month now because of that, because it is a more inclusive way to identify this month and to title this month. Also, do you guys know what the term Hispanic means, who it includes and doesn't include versus Latino or Latinx? Like if a person is, a Hispanic person or Latinx.
I would say
person,
from like comes from Spain.
Yeah, exactly. Spain and Latin America versus Latinx, which is not including Spain.
I believe like there's two perspectives, one geographically and one politically.
Yeah.
So it's like, it depends. Because I'm an islander and I'm from Caribbean. I feel more like Caribbean, more than Latin America.
Mm-hmm.
Because Latin America for me is continental, but that is geographically. But when we are here, so I'm arrived to United States like 6 years ago, so I'm pretty new. And you feel all the movement around and activists and everything, like which is political. I'm start to feel in myself like Latin America, just to be close to that idea or that mindset in. But when I'm in my country, I'm not Latin American, I'm Cuban, or I'm just an islander from the Caribbean. So it's
exactly.
It's kind of hard to say.
Mm-hmm. It is hard to say. Yeah, because once you get here in the US, you're not in your country, but your identity is it probably stays the same, but I'm just saying you begin to gravitate toward people who speak your same language, but maybe are from different countries. So and now your life is here. So, Carlos, thank you for sharing this. Hispanic, of relating to or being a person of Latin American descent, and especially of Cuban, we're living in the US, of relating to people, speech, or culture of Spain. Good, exactly. That's kind of what I see, is that it's all encompassing, including Spain. So that's helpful. Thank you. Well, next time we're going to talk about the food. Look at these amazing dishes. Does anything look like something you recognize? See, Carlos, what do you recognize?
Ajiaco.
Ajiaco.
El ajiaco colombiano. Oh my
God.
Ajiaco colombiano. What is it, Carlos?
It's like a soup with potatoes, corn. You put avocado in it, chicken. It's
it's like a chicken soup with all these.
You have to take a nap after it. That's all I know.
Okay, and then Laura, do you recognize this?
Of course.
I know.
Ropa vieja, right?
Ropa vieja with?
I believe, rice and beans and black beans.
Yeah, exactly.
Arroz blanco, frijoles negro, posiblemente, that's probably in the Cuban style. So it's like a sleeping black beans. Frijoles dormidos.
What are frijoles dormidos? Oh my God.
Frijoles dormidos is because it's more like a cream, not a soup.
Oh, right.
Oh,
Oh, so
you need
when
to
you
try.
kind of like make it so it's like a thick consistency.
More like, exactly. It's more like more creamy than
Love that.
light
So
liquid.
yeah. Yeah. Less liquidy, more creamy.
Mhm.
Ropa vieja, old clothes. What is it?
Which
Just
is shredded beef.
shredded beef or is it pork? No,
No, it is beef.
it's beef. Okay, shredded
It is
beef
beef.
with like all sorts of, it's so delicious if anybody needs to have that. I was also expecting my Mexican friend to be here. We were going to talk about these Mexican delights, but we don't have time anyway. We will also look at those next week. Last thing is, please tell your friends that I have a referral discount right now through October 31st. You can get a free lesson with me. If you get somebody else to sign up with me, they also get a free lesson with me. All these free lessons I'm giving away right now. And I know you all are my friends and you love me. So I will tell you right now, you can like spread the word as much as you can and see if anybody wants to sign up. And then the free lesson for you, you can also gift to somebody else. So if you know someone who wants to learn Spanish or wants to improve their English, send them my way. And next week, like I said, we're going to be doing Dia de los Muertos. Come join me. I hope to see you all there. And ¿cómo se dice goodbye in Español? Anybody know what are some goodbye options in Spanish?
Un beso.
Oh, very nice. I love that. Un beso.
one.
Anybody else?
Ciao. Adios.
Ciao, adios. Hasta la próxima. In this case, we have one coming up, right? We can say see you next time. Hasta la próxima, hasta pronto, hasta la pasta, all of those things. All
Ciao
right.
pescado.
Ciao pescado.
Ciao, pecado.
Ciao pescado.
Goodbye, fish.
Bye, Leah. Bye, Carlos.
Bye, fish.
Nice to meet you.
Gracias.
Gracias.
Adios.